All right. Salute. Peace. Excuse me. All right. Today is Sunday. Give me a second. I keep forgetting I keep forgetting I got it on two screens. Excuse me. Um, I don't know what's going on with my YouTube that I gotta have two screens so I can actually see y'all talking. Um, all right, let me see. We got things we want to talk about today. I'm mad at my landlord. I know y'all see me rubbing my hands and stuff. Excuse me. Oh man, excuse me. Landlord, they been cheap on the heat. Been cheap on the heat. As long as I don't see no smoke coming up my mouth, I'm good. All right. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me get some people in here. I might freeze up, might not. Depends. Hopefully I don't. I'm not freezing up so far. It's a that I was talking too much. Too much talking. Let me see. Yes. Did it again. All right, we good. Just briefly. Let me see. Oh man, daggone. Excuse me. Let me see who tried to hit me up in the chat. Somebody called the filthy casual. Hey, can I ask you to vote for me? I'm a finalist to co-host an upcoming entertainment event. It's all about public votes now. It only takes a moment to support. I'll see what's that about. I thought it was an email from Leafy. Like, what Leafy doing now? Let me see. Shout out to Don D. Appreciate you reposting my post. He wrote on one of my posts that I have made. He said he is the standard of what a boxing game developer should be. I'm proud to know such a person. These companies and investors need to take a chance on you ASAP. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that support me in some form or fashion. I appreciate y'all. You know, y'all just coming to the podcast. That's enough for me in general. You know, we get the numbers up, we get heard more. And like I said, this is not my podcast. This is our podcast. Y'all could come on here any day you want. I could set up if it's not in your time frame, you're working or doing other things, I could accommodate that. But this is our podcast. You want to come on here and you want to rant and rave, or you want to, if you want to praise the game, even though I'm gonna push back on you, You could praise the game all you want. Just like with people that like Fight Night. You know, that's what my thing is, that's how y'all feel. That's what y'all like. And that's okay. And my thing is, I'm pushing for the best representation of boxing. And many of y'all will say Fight Night Champion is. But then I gotta put this out there. If it was the best representation of boxing, it would have sold well. It took 10 years for them to get the numbers that Undisputed got in the first week. And that shouldn't have never happened with a company like EA. Not saying that Undisputed is a great game or a game that I would play. No, I won't play it right now because it's garbage to me. It's garbage. It's pure garbage. Yes, people play in garbage. Some people say, "Hey, I'm winning though." Yeah, you're winning in a piece of garbage. To each his own. But you can't get mad at me for my opinion, and I can't get mad at you for your opinion. But we supposed to discuss these things. We supposed to talk about these things. But a lot of y'all just want to be like, I like it and that's it. No. That's what conversation's for, so we can have a better game. The community is attacking each other with no context to it. I just like this game. It's not broke. I'm winning. You're still not making points. Because a lot of people keep saying the game is going to get better in Undisputed 2. That's not always true. That's not always true. I can give you at least 20 to 30 games that got worse or were the same. Just because they're moving on a new engine does not mean the game is going to get better. It doesn't. It sounds good on paper, but it doesn't mean it's going to get better. Shout out to Mike Adams. Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to I'm Precisely. You here every day, my brother. You and Mike Adams. We just missed Lamont Davis. Where Lamont Davis at? Lamont, just pop in and pop out. Pop in and pop out. Let me just know that you're all right. Yeah, people, everybody keep infighting, and it doesn't do nothing to make this game better. The infighting makes no sense to me. When fans attack other fans, this topic comes up a lot. When fans attack other fans, the culture protecting boxing games. What's actually happening? There's a strange shift happening in the boxing game community. Instead of fans demanding better from developers, some fans are attacking other fans for speaking up. If you point out that Undisputed is broken, if you show bugs, if you highlight exploits, players are working around. If you question why core systems don't function properly, you're suddenly the villain. And that right there, that's the real problem. This isn't about hate. This isn't about trolling. This isn't about this is about standards. The broken game reality. Let's be honest. The community openly shares workaround for bugs. Admit certain mechanics don't function as intended. Adjust sliders that we don't have. They try to adjust the game, like with the modders and stuff, to avoid modes to make it playable. learn exploits because core systems don't behave realistically. The community openly learns exploits because core systems don't behave realistically. That's not polish, that's adaptation. When players build survival strategies around broken systems, the company is no longer under pressure to fix them. And I know y'all saying, Poe, some of the stuff sound like you're repeating it. People keep repeating the same thing in the Discord. It's kind of the same thing, just written in different words. And I just want us to have the conversation and talk about it. Why would they be if sales continue? Why would Steel City fix anything? Why would they? If sales continue, DLC sales, and criticism get attacked by other fans. There's no urgency. Comfort is created by silence and infighting. Some fans attack critics. Why some fans attack critics? This part is uncomfortable, but let's talk about it. Sarcastic mindset. It's the only boxing game we have. That's sarcasm stuff. It's the only boxing game we got. The mindset makes people protective. They're afraid that criticism might hurt the game. But here's the truth. Low standards hurt the game more than criticism ever will. Emotional investment. Some players defend this game for years. Admitting its flaws feels like admitting they were wrong. So instead of adjusting their position, they attack the messenger. Tribalism. Gaming communities turn into camps. Supporters, haters, real fans, fake fans. Once that happens, logic disappears. And this the thing, I'm building up to something, but this the thing that us as a community, we can't come together. So the developers, they got an excuse. Y'all don't even know what y'all want. So we had to give y'all what we thought y'all needed. Y'all don't even know what y'all want. Now, if we come together and say, well, you want online, all right. You want offline, all right. You want creative players, okay. You want a deeper career mode, all right. We all come together and say, all right, we're going to make sure all of us get what we want so we can play. We want the game to survive. We should have the mentality that we want this to be the best game. We want it to get major numbers. We want it to be historic. We want to get better games. We want other companies to say, hey, they're getting rich off of this game. They're making a great game. We got to make a better game. We want that. But no, we got that mentality to keep ripping at each other. And my thing is, y'all say, well, Poe, you're doing the same thing because you're talking against certain people. No, I'm talking against the people that's making this game more than what it should be. It's not a fixed game. It's a broken game. It's full of bugs. I hate that I got to talk about this game every day. And I apologize to the developers that watch my show. Because if y'all really want to hear ideas and stuff, I have blogs. A lot of y'all know that I have a blog that you could go to and see my ideas. I even have a site where I actually is kind of repeating what I'm saying now. It has like blogs and articles that I have written. You can read through those. But some of the stuff I repeat, on purpose. Because when you repeat something, it becomes a pattern and it sticks in your mind. And I hate that some people that's here every day hear it. I'm trying to get the people that's not here every day. And I apologize to y'all. All right. Customers have rights. You do not lose your voice because you bought the game. You refund the game. You stop playing. You never purchased it because you saw the issues. You don't lose your rights. People always be trying to bring stuff up like that. I'm like, you're not talking to a child. They be talking to me like, Poe, you don't play the game. So you shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't have a voice. You should be playing the game. If I'm playing the game, that means I'm accepting what the game is. If I play the game, if anybody play the game, they're accepting what the game is. The developers see it as y'all okay with what they made. No matter how people try to twist it, the developers see it as people are okay with the way the game is. Because you could say, it got this mistake and that mistake. Well, I know how to play around it. We could do this and do that. That means the game is okay to the developers. That's how I look to the investors. So why should they fix anything? Why should we expect that Undisputed 2 is going to be a superior game? You know what might just be working? The online might work better. That's it. But we might get the same game because nobody's saying anything. And they keep saying the developers know what they're doing. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because the community don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Blaze, salute, Blaze. Appreciate you coming in here. There's 47.4 million PlayStation Plus subscribers. SEI is about to make a bunch of money selling the DLC alone. Maybe. My son said, because my son plays on my account on PlayStation. My son said he gets flooded. He gets flooded with people asking him because they think it's me. Because a lot of people don't associate me, the newer generation, but a lot of people associate me with boxing video games. So he said they be asking him, like, yo, should I buy the game? Should I get the game? Oh, there's a new game. And I be telling them, yo, man, tell them jokers do not contact me again. Don't, because I'm not boosting that game up. I'm not boosting Undisputed up. I'm not going to support Undisputed in any form of faction. I wish I could take back the money that I did give them for buying them games to give away. Tell my son, like, nah, man, don't even, when people start asking you about it, act like you didn't see the message. You know, don't even reply to that. All right. Everyone has the right to their opinion. Let me see. Yeah, Blaze, a lot of free PS players don't like it. Yup, exactly. A lot of them don't. And they come to me like I belong to the brand, like I'm part of that brand. People be like, my son, like, yo, some people be getting angry with me. And that thing is because I was in the beginning, I was telling everybody, yo, there's a new game coming out. There's a new game coming out. You should buy it. Yo, this game we got to make sure we buy the game so we can make a better game. Now they're attacking him and stuff. And I say, just ignore them, block them. Even people be doing like, Paul, you told me this is going to be the best game ever. I said, I really did. I was looking at my old Facebook posts. I made probably over 200 posts about Undisputed, ESBC, in the Undisputed, like the early Undisputed. Then you can see where I dropped off. So people are mad at me. They're like, we looked at you as the voice. You've been around this long enough. Nah, man, don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. You see, precisely, most of them are not going to like it because they don't stand a chance in online play. I've been destroying the new plus players. See, Blaze, you making the game work for what it is. And that's kind of defeating them, making the game better. To be honest, I'm not shooting, throwing darts at you, nothing, but like even a developer said it. I'm not going to give names, but not one developer. I don't know why I keep saying a developer. Developers say if you play something and you don't really say anything, they'll be like, why should we do anymore? Why should the investors give them more money? Why should the investors give them more money to make a better product? They're going to give them the same budget or a smaller budget. Even if they're selling DLC and they're making money, they're still going to give them a smaller budget. They're going to grab the money and say, all right, we don't want to be a part of this project. And from my understanding is that they changed the investors. So you getting new investors on board and the expectation is probably going to be higher. Where is Shaolin? Yeah, where is Shaolin? Shaolin late today. Let me see. You need like 50 hours online to even compete. That is combinations with the bugs makes this game not likable for them. Man, if I was doing that game for 100 hours, my thing is if I play the game the way a lot of people play, I will be raging. And then you know what people are gonna say? Well, Poe, you're not a competitive player. That makes no sense to me. Just because you accept what bugs are in the game and you create a workaround, don't mean that you're not competitive. I am competitive. For a person to say you're not competitive, I'm not going to play a game just because. That's not me. If that was the case, I would play Fight Night Champion over Undisputed because Fight Night Champion is a complete game, even though Fight Night Champion is arcade, 100%. And nobody can argue with me about that. It's documented, and a lot of people can repeat it because they were there. Fight Night Champion was not a realistic boxing game. The developer said it. Yo, Poe, Estevan was crashing out defending Undisputed yesterday. It was so funny. Yeah, he defended this game. And he crashed out on me at one time. But I can't sit up there because you play the game a certain, and I look at the way he plays. He doesn't play like he's boxing. He plays like it's a fighting game. And that's the problem. A lot of people see a boxing video game as a fighting game. No, that's not what it is. We are like, people are strict about their sports, but then it seems like when it comes to boxing is watered down. I gotta be the one. A lot of people, they boxed or whatever, they don't want to speak up. I'ma speak up. Hopefully I get a couple of voices to follow suit, but a lot of people not speaking up. Let me see. I'm playing an Estevan now on Undisputed. Yeah. People be like, they come hardcore at you, like they getting paid. They like getting paid. And their first thing they said, you don't play the game, so you can't have an opinion. Man, you crazy. You crazy. Let me see. Blaze said Estevan plays the game more than almost anyone. I could see him crashing out on the critics. Yeah, because he loved the game. And when you love something, you defend it. It's like me. Now check it out. Me getting on somebody, I know this gonna crash out on a lot of people. Me getting on people that eat pork, or me getting on somebody that smokes, they're gonna crash out on me because they love it. They love smoking and they love pork, or they love whatever they love. They're gonna crash out on me. They're gonna defend it with their life. They could have clogged up lungs, have lung cancer and everything, and they're going to still crash out on you. I know it sounds weird as a weird example, but it's facts. We all grown-ups here. Majority of us grown-ups here. Let me see. Let me finish reading what I was reading. Then I'll come back. Customers has right. You do not lose your voice because you bought the game. You do not lose your voice because you refund the game. You do not lose your voice because you stop playing. You do not lose your voice because you never purchased it because you saw the issues. Boxing fans care about representation. Gamers care about mechanics. Customers care about value. All of that is valid. You don't need permission to want quality. You don't need permission to want quality. Making SCI comfortable. Here's the uncomfortable reality. When fans attack critics, they indirectly protect the company from accountability. When fans attack critics, they indirectly protect the company from accountability. Think about that. Developers watch community spaces. Publishers watch sentiment. Investors watch noise levels. Listen to that last part. Investors, they move the needle. Investors watch noise levels. So we all being silent, what are they hearing? I know all this stuff. Investors. This was taught to me early from a developer. I know a lot of people always be pushing back, but I know what I know. And the people that know me from the Fight Night forums know I had a friendship with the developers. I had access to the developer. I asked them a billion questions. And even if they didn't answer it the way I want, I went to ask other developers. That's why I knew this. Here goes something that a lot of people don't know. I knew that Prizefighter was going to fail. I talked to the developer from Venom Games. He literally was like, I had him on a like I was a psychologist asking him questions. He was like, damn, what's the 2K? We're rushing them. He said they're rushing our company to get this game out to compete. And he said we need more time. They pushed that game out in less than 18 months. Actually, less than a year. Look what they did in that short period of time, even though it was buggy and all these different things. But look what they did in that short period of time. Let me get back to, because I'm going off topic. All right. Let me see. Let me read it over again. Making SCI comfortable. Here's the uncomfortable reality. When fans attack critics, they indirectly protect the company from accountability. Think about that. Developers watch community spaces. Publishers watch sentiment. Investors watch noise levels. If the community is divided, confused, and fighting internally, it looks manageable. That's how they manage us. You see that? If the community is divided, confused, and fighting internally, it looks manageable. People like, hold up. How does that look manageable if y'all fighting and y'all going all these different ways? But when the community speaks in a unified, rational voice, that creates pressure. When a community speaks in a unified, rational voice, that creates pressure, and pressure creates change. No pressure, why change? It's no pressure. Nobody's pushing. You know, when you push somebody, you add pressure to them. If you're not pushing them, why move? If you're not pushing them, why should they move? Let me see. Estevan just destroyed me on Undisputed. If that is the same guy, more than likely it is. More than likely it is. The modern era standard. This is this isn't 2005. This isn't early access beta culture. Even though Steel City did it. This isn't early access beta culture. This isn't we'll fix it eventually. We live in patch era gaming. Live service standards, transparency dev cycles, competitive sports gaming ecosystem. Other sports games have deep AI systems, stable physics, detailed options, configurable realism, years of iterations. And I know out of all that stuff y'all heard, y'all gonna go to the one thing that kind of help y'all point. Y'all gonna say, hey, years of iteration. Nah, son. Nope. That using that as an excuse don't even work, because they have years of iterations, years of making games and stuff like that. Because they didn't have games that came before them. 2K was around when the first basketball games was being made. They were around when Atari and when EA were making games. I know y'all remember the Atari crazy looking basketball game. All right. Boxing deserves the same. No excuses, not emotional protection, not culture-like not cult-like loyalty standards. All right, I'm gonna do some Q&As. Why criticize publicly? Because private complaints have fixed visible problems. Because private complaints haven't fixed visible problems. Doesn't criticism hurt sales? A broken product hurts sales more than honesty ever will. Why not just stop playing? Because representation of boxing matters to boxing fans, some boxing fans. Representation does matter, but me, a person like me still playing the game, it's not going to make the game better. It's not going to make me like the game. Well, I could play it and I'll like it. No, it's not. Me playing the game is not going to make Steel City make a better game. And me criticizing Steel City is criticizing anybody that comes after Steel City or anybody that's thinking about making a boxing game. Because companies do listen to this show and they do shadow watch forums. They want to see what the community looks like. What are they talking about? What are they complaining about? This I know. No guessing. No guessing. I'm not an 18-year-old or 15-year-old child playing around. I don't benefit by lying about anything. What do I benefit? Nothing at all. Are critics trying to destroy the game? No, most critics want it fixed, not buried. Some fans are, let me see, the biggest issue, the bigger issue, fear of speaking up. Some fans are quiet because they don't want backlash. They don't want to be labeled negative. They don't want drama. That silence benefits no one except the status quo. Exactly. And I'm not being quiet, and I don't care about the backlash, even though I get pushed. People be pushing back on me all the time. Loving boxing means demanding better for boxing. Being a fan doesn't mean being a shield. Being supportive doesn't mean being silent. Being patient doesn't mean being passive. You can't want the game to succeed and still call out what's broken. Those two things are not enemies. They're supposed to work together. And if a community ever wants a truly deep, realistic boxing game that respects the sport, it starts with unity around standards, not attacks, not excuses, not comfort. Standards. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see what y'all said. Card Boxing, how's it going? I didn't forget you. I just be I started thinking about something and I try to get to it fast. And then I'd be like, oh man, once it started getting late, I'd be like, oh man, I didn't even pay attention to what was going on. Let me see. He countered me 1,000,000 times and taunted me. He was too good for me. Estevan blender or something. Total belt end. I've been bodying so many PS Plus newbies. Let me see. Let's ask some. Let me see. Why are fans policing other fans? Let me ask something straight. When did it become normal for customers to defend a product harder than the company does? That's the part nobody wants to sit with. You point out the game is broken. You show clips. You mentioned that players are literally learning how to play around flaws instead of playing boxing. And instead of someone saying, yeah, that's a problem, they say, why are you so negative? Stop trying to ruin it. It's the only boxing game we've got. That right there, that's fear talking, not logic, fear. Fear that if we criticize too loudly, we lose the only representation boxing has in gaming. So instead of pushing the company to rise to the moment, some fans start pushing other fans down. And that's backwards. If anything, the more broken something is, the louder the conversation should be. You don't make something better by protecting it from reality. You don't fix a sports representation by pretending it's fine. Let me stop. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing with a lot of people, and no shots at people. At certain people. But the truth is the truth. It's almost the same way they do with their children. Some people do not influence their child life. They don't build character. They don't let the child know what is wrong and what is right. They literally say they will figure it out. A child doesn't figure out anything. You're supposed to be the example. An adult, yes, but you still are supposed to be an influence. You still supposed to be an influence as an elder or older person. That's why my nieces, nephews, they always have high respect for me. Even my brothers have high respect for me. Peace and blessings to my brother, Elijah. We used to talk, and he used to always give me my props because people with ideas always come together to build on ideas, to make things better. When I have ideas, I go to my brother because I'm full of ideas. I'm an idea guy. That's what I keep telling people. They call me a complainer, but no, I'm not a complainer. I have ideas. I stay with ideas. I went to art school. I keep saying it. I went to the same school that Michael B. Jordan went to. And you know when I went to the art school, because I got so many ideas, because in the art school you got art, acting, instruments, and I forget what else, but you got art, acting, instruments, and all these different things in the school. I wanted to be an actor too. But it was like I was trying to do all these things. I said, Dad, I could do poetry. I could do this. I overthink. It's what you call a jack of all trades and the master of none. But I master two things that I like. My poetry, I do it like it's nothing. And that's why I be telling people about genetics and stuff. I know I'm ranting, going on and on, but I tell people about genetics. I'm a poet by nature. And guess what my son is, even though he don't do poetry or anything. My son was writing words. It's like certain things is encoded in you. My son was he wrote a list. He said, I was just writing ideas, writing a list. And I was reading it. And I was like, yo, man, I said, yo, I like this poem, right? And he said, bah. He said, that's not a poem. That's ideas. I mean, I wrote down a list of things that ideas. I said, this a poem, man. Read it. And he read, he said, oh, I said, it's in you. Things are genetically in you. But all right, let me get back to this because I know I'm ranting. All right. Fear, that's fear too. Fear can be genetic too. Some people could be scared, or some people want to be more. All right. Fear that if we criticize too loudly, we lose the only representation boxing has in gaming. So instead of pushing the company to rise to the momentum, some fans start pushing other fans down. And that's backwards. If anything, the more broken something is, the louder the conversation should be. You don't make something better by protecting it from reality. Exactly. It proves the point I was making. You don't fix a sport representation by pretending it's fine. That goes with what I was saying. And there's something that needs to be said clearly. You don't lose your right to speak because you stop playing. You don't lose your right to speak because you refunded it. You don't lose your right to speak because you're a boxing fan first and a gamer second. Consumers don't need a participation trophy to critique a project or product. Now, here's the deeper layer. When players start explaining how to work around broken mechanics when they share exploits tutorials, when they adjust sliders just to make it feel normal, that becomes a cushion for the developer. That becomes a cushion for the developer. It signals they'll adapt. An adaptation without pressure creates comfort. comfort slows urgency. Comfort slows urgency. So why should they fix anything if people are comfortable with the product they have? Urgency is what fixes games. And this whole don't say anything, you're hurting the game mindset, that's not loyalty, that's insecurity. Other sports communities don't move like that. They don't. And I've been in plenty of them. I literally was above, I was the moderator on a lot of those forums. And like I tell you, when I was a moderator for EA, and me, I always think strategic. They wanted me to be a moderator on the MMA forums. I said, I don't fit there. They said, why? I said, it's a combat sport. I said, I don't really like MMA like that. Even though I like the THQ UFC games. I liked it. They would have made me an MMA fan. No, I don't think so. But I would have played them. But I will not play an EA Fight Night UFC game. I don't care what anybody say because you're a fan of it. So why should I care what y'all say? If something is broken in a football game or basketball game, it gets blasted loudly, repeatedly, publicly, and fixes come faster because the standard is non-negotiable. Fixes come faster because the standards is non-negotiable. Everybody wasn't complaining when every time there's something broke, there's a couple of voices. But then you got the other people that accept the broken things in the game. That's what this game didn't get fixed early. If everybody would have came together a year or two ago and they had the same voice, we would have had a way better game. But people were finding workarounds. People were not complaining. People got excited. We got new DLC. You got new skins. And people okay with that. And that's crazy. Like I tell y'all, I'm a collector. And I like unique things. I don't like something, the same character to look like that other character. It's skins. I'm not really a collector. Let me see. Boxing fans deserve that same backbone. And let's be honest about something else. Some people are mad not because the criticism is wrong, but because it's accurate. And accuracy is uncomfortable, especially when you're defending something for months or years. Nobody likes feeling like they stood 10 toes down for something that doesn't deliver. So instead of reassessing, they redirect that discomfort outward. It becomes personal. Yup, right there. It becomes personal. It always becomes personal. It becomes tribal. It becomes emotional, but it isn't personal. It's product quality. And if a community can't separate those two, the company never feels real pressure to evolve. The company don't feel real pressure to evolve. There's no pressure on Steel City. People keep saying they're gonna make a better game. There's no pressure. There's no pressure. People are still playing the game. People are finding play arounds. There's no pressure to make a better game. There's no pressure. All they got to do is fix the online and people feel that the game will be okay. There's people that like other modes that will make the game be historic. But some people just don't care about everybody else. They want you to care about their play style or what they want, but they don't want you to have what you want in a boxing game. So the question isn't why are critics so loud? The real question is Why are some fans more upset at criticism than they are at broken systems? That's the conversation, not hate, not drama, not division, standards. And if boxing is ever going to be treated like a serious sports ecosystem in gaming, the community has to stop attacking the people demanding seriousness, because silence doesn't protect the sport, it shrinks it. Now, this feels more like a conversation than a checklist. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Excuse me. Besides, you say, yeah, Mike, he's so competitive over a broken game. He has worked out exactly how to master the game, that's for sure. The game isn't hard, it's just too buggy and has horrible, wonky animations. It kills the immersion for me, for a lot of people. Let me see. Salute to the 10 people that's here and the people that shadow watching. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, please. The more people see that we have voices, that because my thing is y'all can come on the show anytime you want. I always say that this show is y'all show. If you want to express yourself, even if you want to come at me for what I'm saying, come on the show. You can say what you want. I literally won't say nothing if you don't want me to. It'll be your show for one day. This is our show. This is a platform for everybody. All right, let me see. Let me say something that's probably going to make some people mad. Why are fans more aggressive to other? No, I read. I don't want to read that again. I restructured it. I forgot. All right, this fit what we was just talking about. Let me see. Winning in a broken game is more important than winning in a fixed game. That's right there says a lot, because the psychology nobody wants to unpack. Winning in a broken game is more important than winning in a fixed game. Let's sit down with that. In a broken system, the best player isn't always the best player. They're the best exploiter. They know which mechanics doesn't register correctly, which punch tracking whiffs as certain ranges, which punch tracking whiffs at certain ranges, which stamina logic can be manipulated, which AI behavior can be baited repeatedly, which online latency windows favors certain patterns. That's not boxing IQ. That's system gaming. That's systems gaming. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people like that because once a game is fixed, once mechanics are stable, once exploits are removed, skills become exposed. Now you can rely on weird tracking bugs. No, excuse me. Now you can't rely on weird tracking bugs. You can't rely on animation glitches. You can't rely on desync moments. You have to rely on timing, distance, ring control, real reads. That's a different kind of pressure. In a boxing environment, chaos can hide weakness. In a fixed environment, structure reveals them. So when someone pushes for the game to be corrected, what they're really saying is let's remove the shortcuts. And shortcuts benefit certain players. That's why the defense can be emotional, because if the game is cleaned up, the leaderboard might change. The top players might shift. The exploit knowledge advantage disappears. And suddenly it is just boxing. Clean inputs, clean counters, consistent physics, real consequences. Some people don't want that shift. Not consciously, but psychologically it's there. Winning in a broken system gives you power. Winning in a fixed system earns you respect. Those are not the same thing. And those critics say, fix it. They're not attacking the community. They're saying, let's see who's really good. That's why this conversation matters, because if the culture values glitch victories over authentic competition, the game never evolved into a sport. It stays workaround simulator. It stays a workaround simulator. So the real question becomes, do we want competitive integrity, or do we want to protect the current hierarchy? That's deeper than just bugs. That's culture. My expectations for Undisputed 2 are extremely low. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Yeah, it's so true. The best players on Undisputed are skilled at exploiting it. The flash KO thing has to be removed on this game. It's ridiculous the way they got to implement it. There's no game built like that. If it was, we will be playing it now over any other game. I don't understand what you're saying, Boo Man. Appreciate you coming through. I don't understand what you're saying. And what I be saying, I make sure I try to get it straight. I've been doing this for ever since the first boxing video game was out. So I've been doing this all the time. Some people just play games. Me, I go deeper. Some people just play video games. Me, I go deeper to see what can be better. That's what I do. That's what I always did. I collect data. I always make sure. A lot of people argue with me because I do that. And that's crazy, because some people, they don't like to be wrong. My thing is, I like to be wrong. Correct me. That adds to my data. I like to collect data. All right. My expectations for Undisputed 2 are extremely low. And what Fight Night Champion quality proved about fans. My expectations for Undisputed 2 are extremely low. And what Fight Night Champion quietly proved about fans. I'm going to say something that might disappoint people. My expectations for Undisputed 2 are extremely low, not because I hate boxing games. And that's what people, they be trying to frame it. They be trying to frame it. They're like, oh, if you're a boxer, I mean, you're a former boxer and you love boxing, you should love any boxing game. And 9 out of 10 times, if I tell them, I say, hey, did you ever play Title Boat Boxing? They're like, no. I never heard of that game. I say, it's a tech sim. They'd be like, oh, no, I don't play tech sims. That's garbage. But that goes to the same thing that you're saying. if you're a boxing fan, you still will support a boxing game. So your logic falls apart. Let me see. Let me read it over so I can get context. My expectations for Undisputed 2 are extremely low, not because I hate boxing games, not because I want the studio to fail, not because I enjoy being critical, but because patterns matter more than promises. That word right there is attached to me. Patterns. A lot of people don't pay attention to patterns. I guess it's because I'm a father. No, it's because when I was a child, that's all I did. Everything has patterns. Especially that's how some artists function. I'm an artist. So you notice patterns that other people don't see. You might see something in a crack or in a bunch of garbage that nobody else see. Patterns. So everything I see is literally patterns. All right. And history already told us how this plays out. Okay. We've seen this before. When Fight Night Champion launched, it wasn't just another boxing title. It followed Fight Night Round 4, which many fans felt leaned toward a more grounded, competitive feel in certain areas. Listen to that before y'all start attacking Fight Night Round 4. Certain areas. It had potential. It had potential in certain areas. A lot of people was excited for the potential. Then Champion arrived with cinematic focus, exaggerated reactions, a stronger arcade tilt, a presentation first philosophy. And what happened? The community split. Some love the drama, some love the story mode. But a loud segment of boxing purists felt the shift immediately. They didn't feel heard. They didn't feel the direction mattered. No, they feel the direction match. They didn't feel the direction match what they wanted. Go on. And here's the key point. They didn't quietly accept it. Fans don't rebel overnight. There's this myth that sports gamers will just buy whatever has the license. That myth has destroyed more franchises than criticism ever has. That myth has destroyed more franchises than criticism ever has. With Champion, frustration wasn't instant chaos. It was erosion, slow, steady, and persistent. Sales didn't explode. Momentum didn't build into a sequel wave. And and this is what I keep telling y'all. They had Fight Night Champion 2 already planned. They have Fight Night Champion 2 already planned. I know some of the ideas that they had planned for the game, literally. And there's I think there's probably like 3 to 4 people that could back me up on that. Sales didn't explode. Momentum didn't build into a sequel wave. The excitement curve flattened instead of climbing. And eventually the series stopped. That wasn't random. That was market feedback. That was market feedback. Why my expectations are low? Let me see what y'all saying first. All right, let me see. Go back to that. Why my expectations are low. Here's where it connects. When a studio struggles to stabilize core mechanics, AI behavior, competitive balance, I hate that word, exploit control, systems consistency, and the community is divided about whether issues even matter. That's not a foundation. That's instability. If Undisputed One cannot fully resolve its identity and execution issues, expecting Undisputed 2 to suddenly become a polished, unified, industry standard sports ecosystem feels unrealistic. Sequels don't magically fix culture. They amplify it. If the culture is defensive about flaws, comfortable with workarounds, split between arcade and sim, afraid to defend higher standards, then the sequel inherits that tension. The sequel going to inherit all of that. What Fight Night Champion really proved? Champion proved something powerful. Fans don't reject boxing games. They reject direction that doesn't align with what they want the sport to feel like. If a boxing game feels exaggerated when they want authenticity, if a boxing game feels shallow when they want depth, if a boxing game feels inconsistent when they want integrity, they disengage. Now, not loudly at first, not dramatically, but financially. And that's the rebellion that matters. The modern sports standard. Look at other sports ecosystems. Basketball fans expect realism sliders. Basketball fans expect realism sliders. Football fans expect AI evolution. Baseball fans expect systems death. Boxing fans deserve real ring generalship, adaptive AI, authentic damage logic, mechanical consistency, configurable options for playstyle. If those things aren't foundational, not cosmetic, if those things aren't foundational, not cosmetic, not market, not foundational, these expectations should remain cautious. Hope without evidence is emotional investment. Expectations should be based on trajectory. The real fear. My low expectations doesn't come from cynicism. They come from watching history. If Undisputed 2 arrives without a stable competitive core, clear identity, authentic boxing logic, unified community direction, then we repeat the same cycle. Excitement, division, defensiveness, drop off, and boxing games and boxing gaming goes dormant again. Because if Undisputed 2 fails, that's it for boxing. Fight Night Champion didn't fail because boxing fans hate boxing games. It proved fans will disengage when the product doesn't align with their expectations of the sport. That lesson still stands. If a sequel doesn't internalize that truth, hype won't save it. Only alignment will. And until I see the alignment clearly forming, my expectations will stay exactly where they are, low. All right. When content creators become echo chambers, I know y'all saying, Poe getting on these content creators. No names. I'm not getting on certain people. What's up, Boxing Lounge? Appreciate you. Boxing Lounge is in the house. Let me see. There's no game built like that. If it was, we will be playing it now over any other game. Why are you making excuses for still? Why are you making excuses for companies? They can make it. You mean to tell me that they're not making the game because it can't be done? Do me a favor. Go to my blogs. Go to my blogs on my blog site. Read everything in my blog. It literally breaks down the architecture, the scripts, the coding, and everything. Everything that we want in real boxing can be added in in a video game. Why are you protecting this company? Shout out to Narco Reacts. Why are you protecting companies? We want them to make a better product, but you saying they can't do it. We live in the era of technology. We live in the era of technology. There's so much that can be done with the technology. And this is something y'all don't know. And I mentioned, I think 2 days ago. Don't you know that if you're playing like not you're playing offline or something like that, if you're playing the game and go back to the corner, the AI, if they implement it right, it can implement. I got the coding and everything for it, but they can implement. Hey, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. It can literally say your name, whatever name you put in. It can literally say these names. Hey, such and such. You're doing this wrong. You're letting them do this. That's what the AI can do. And you know the whack commentation that Todd Grisham does? All that crazy stuff he's saying that don't really sound like boxing, sound like somebody that's pretending that they know boxing. He's saying all these crazy things, not sounding like how Teddy Atlas sound with Fight Night Champion. Sound like a real commentator, like somebody that know about boxing. The AI can do that and add more. No repeat commentary. AI can do that. Y'all didn't know that technology exists. All these game companies know this technology exists. Steel City is intentionally not adding certain things. And I guess you don't realize that Steel City has 3 studios. They have all these different things, but they're not investing it right. They're not investing it right. Stop defending them. You defending them, and it's not going to make a better game. And you know it's funny when a developer from a company, I'm not going to say which developer, but when I was helping EA, they liked that I was being critical because it helps the investors and the public, which is EA, but they have a branch that pushes the game. You help push the game, help them change the budget because Fight Night Champion had a budget. And you know what happened to the majority of that budget? The majority of the budget went to the story mode. And it cost the budget and the resources, most of it went to the story mode. And please don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Please don't. So most of the budget went to the story mode and the actors and all that. So the core game did not get attention. And out of respect for me, Brizzle put the tendencies in. He put the tendencies in that I gave him to add in. Poe, you're lying. I got a wish list and I got it dated. I have another wish list site, different from the one that I got. And I have a screenshot that Brizzle sent me Poe, we got the wish list. He let me see that they got it. So those tendencies are my tendencies. And literally put it in. Even though some of the stuff was wonky, he still put it in. So don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an 18-year-old. I'm not a 15-year-old. Nah, not at all. If you see somebody playing Undisputed on my account, that's my son, and I'm gonna get mad at him. He will not get his rent paid this month. My son will not be getting his rent paid this month if he's playing Undisputed. And I know you're saying that's harsh. So what? Paul, you know you playing. No, let me see. Fight Night Champion is an arcade cut down version of Fight Night Round 4. 100%. 100%. And the developer said it. That's why I be saying why people get upset with me saying, hey, it's realistic. You just saying that. No, the developer said it. The developer said it. He said he overdid the punches and the reactions. That's arcade. He said it's arcade. It is. It took me a long time to adapt to Fight Night Champion at the round 4. Thank God Undisputed doesn't have auto block. Oh, man. Y'all funny, man. Let me see. When content creators become echo chambers, I'm not hitting. I know this is my third time saying something, making a script about content creators, but if your name is not attached, I'm not talking about you. I got to be respectful for a lot of you content creators, and a lot of you content creators, I don't. When content creators become echo chambers, there's a pattern that shows up in modern gaming communities. A community builds relationship with content creators. A company builds relationships with content creators. Facts. And that's what Steel City was doing in the beginning. My thing is, I left. They had me down as a content creator. I left. I saw what was going on. I left. It's almost like what I did with EA. Once I saw what Fight Night Champion was going to be, I left. Because you're not say, Poe, we're not making Fight Night Champion no more. We're going to put you on the UFC game. Nah, that ain't happening. I would have rather been a moderator for The Sims. I would rather be a moderator for The Sims. And the funny thing is, I used to play The Sims a lot. All right, let me get back to the story. Y'all need to know all that. All right, when content creators become echo chambers, they're a pattern that shows up in modern gaming communities. A company builds relationship with content creators, early access, private builds, exclusive interviews, invites to certain events, behind the scenes conversations. I was having these things when I was helping EA. I had that access with Ash at some point until somebody shut that down. Ash was telling me everything. I had to stop. I was like, Ash, man, you telling me too much. Literally, I said it. A lot of y'all be like, Paul, you ain't say that. I was like, yo, you should be protected. I said, stop telling everybody everything. Because I was telling them, stop telling me everything. I know how the gaming industry works. Even though I was never into a major company, I worked on a team. No matter how y'all feel about the company or whatever, I worked on a development team. I've been with I helped EA in a way. Hey, I even send boxes to Steel City. They'll say I didn't, but my conversations that I got saved says different, because you're not going to make me seem like I'm lying. On the surface, that sounds, excuse me, this is a whole different thing I'm reading now. On the surface, that sounds normal, like normal marketing. Let me see. Yeah, I'm reading about the content creators. On the surface, that sounds like normal marketing. But here's where things get complicated. When those same creators consistently downplay issues fans document, push optimism over evidence, and frame criticism as negative, and redirect accountability conversations away from developers, it stops feeling like commentary. It starts feeling like narrative management, and fans notice. Access changes incentives. Access changes incentives. Let's be honest about human behavior, some human behavior, because you can't lump me into stuff like that. Trust me. If your channel depends on early access codes, interview opportunities, event invitations, developer relationships, sponsored integrations, you have something to lose. Me, I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. I could prove it, because there were times when I sent people, I said, all right, since y'all not gonna let me come to the event, I sent people in my place. I said, well, at least let this person go. And when you have something to lose, your tone naturally shifts. Not always intentionally, not always maliciously, but subtle. Instead of this mechanic is broken, it becomes it needs tweaking. Instead of this system is fundamentally flawed, it becomes they're working on it. Heard all this. Instead of fans have valid concerns, it becomes people are overreacting. It becomes people are overreacting. I heard a lot of content creators say that. That shifts matters. Research versus reaction. Here's where friction builds. Some fans compare trailers to release builds. Yup. Track roadmap promises. Save developer statements. Save developer statements. Yup. Analyze patch notes over time. Exactly. Document reoccurring issues, patterns. Document reoccurring issues. That's research. When those fans are dismissed as negative, conspiracy driven, trying to hurt the game, that creates distrust, because now it feels like facts are inconvenient. And nothing damages a community faster than the feeling that trust is being softened for comfort. This isn't new. This dynamic exists across industries. Companies don't just market products, they shape perception. And content creators are powerful perception filters. The problem isn't creators having access. The problem is when access replaces independence, when criticism becomes filtered, when tones become managed, when pushback shifts towards fans instead of towards flaws. That's when credibility erodes. Why this frustrates fans? Because fans already feel underrepresented in gaming. So when games struggle, the community is divided, and influencers appear more defensive of the company than the protection of the sport. It feels like betrayal, especially when fans doing deep research get painted as troublemakers. Yep. Nobody likes being told they're wrong for noticing patterns. Nobody likes being told they're wrong for noticing patterns. The hard truth: not every creator is compromised. I said that. Not every creator is compromised. Not every positive take is manipulation, but incentives are real, and incentives influence messaging. That's not conspiracy, that's economics. If creators want long credibility, they have to show they can praise improvements, critique failures, and defend fans' right to question things. Balance builds trust. Blind optimism doesn't. The bigger question: here's what really matters. Who is protecting the integrity of the sport? If boxing games are going to be treated serious, sports titles, if boxing games are going to be treated like serious sports titles, the ecosystem around them, the developers, creators, content, the community leaders has to value transparency, have to value transparency over comfort. Fans doing research should not be treated like enemies. That's me. Fans doing research should not be treated like enemies. They should be part of the quality control conversation, because in the long run, companies don't survive on controlled narratives. They survive on products that hold up under scrutiny. And scrutiny isn't hate, it's standards. All right, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Let me see. It said, let me see, LDBYT said, when you think we're getting another boxing game? I don't know. If I was to be honest, probably late this year or next year, late or even in the summer. But that's the minimum. But at the long, I'll say next year. Next year, if anything. Claim Uncut game looks good, but we don't know if it's any good. True. Mike Adams said that. Don't attack me, attack Mike Adams. No, I'm messing with you, Mike. All right, when fans do homework and get punished for it, when fans do homework and get punished for it, there are fans who don't just complain, they go outside the bubble. They ask developers from other studios what's technically possible? What's realistically difficult? What's marketing spin? What's industry standard? What's just poor implementation? That's not trolling. That's due diligence. That's someone trying to separate can't from won't. And then something strange happens. Instead of saying, interesting, what did you learn? Some fans say, name the developer. Expose who told you that. If you can't say who, it's fake. That reaction is relevant. No, that reaction is revealing. I don't know why I say relevant. Why sources can't be named. This is what I be telling y'all all the time. Y'all be like, well, name your sources. I tell y'all Brizzo is one of them, but I have many people that I talk to. Why sources can't be named. Anyone who has spent real time around the industry knows this. Developers from other companies cannot publicly criticize another studio. That's why I lost 3 interviews, because they were new guys. They was in the studio for like 3 years. One of the guys was at EA for 3 years. He wanted to come on here and give an interview. And more than likely, he's listening to the show. He said he listened to my show. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But, all right, why sources can't always be named? Anyone who has spent real time around the industry knows this. Developers from other companies cannot publicly criticize of another studio. They can't risk professional relationships, contract issues, NDA violations, internal politics, career consequences. So when someone says, I spoke to a developer who works at Sports AI, they're protecting that person. That's not shady. That's responsibility. Journalists protect sources all the time. Journalists protect sources all the time. Researchers protect industry context all the time. Why? Because truth matters more than public credit. Truth matters more than public credit. The real discomfort. Here's the part that makes some fans uneasy. If outside developers confirm that something is technically possible, then the excuse shields weakens. This is for the guy in the chat. Let me see what's your name, because I don't want to be like I'm just saying something. Let me see, where you at? Where you at? Let me see, where you at? Because I want to directly. I don't want to be like I'm being shady or nothing like that. Let me see. Where you at? Where you at? Give me a second, y'all. Let me see where he at. Let me see where you at. Trying to find old boy. Give me a second. Trying to see your name, Tad. I can't find it. Did he erase it? No, there you go, right there. There you go. I'm gonna address. This is directly for you. What's his name? Booman. Booman 2393. This directly for you. Because you acting like I'm a little kid, don't know what I'm talking about. The real discomfort. Here's the part that makes some fans uneasy. If outside developers confirm that something is technically possible, then the excuse shields weakens. If industry professionals say, yes, that AI behavior can be done. Yes, that physics system is achievable. Yes, that network structure exists elsewhere. Now the conversation shifts from it can't be done to why isn't it being done here? That's a harder discussion. So instead of debating the information, some fans attack the messenger. Prove it. Name names. You're lying. Yo, that jump be so funny to me. You're lying. Look up, why do people lie? And that doesn't fit me at all. But demanding exposure for private industry sources isn't about truth. It's about discrediting. By demanding exposure of private industry sources isn't about truth. It's about discrediting. A lot of them know that I cannot put their name out there. A lot of people know I cannot put the developers' names out there. That's why they challenge me. What's their names? Prove it. You're lying. I literally made posts and I try to blotch out the name, and people still, they attack that. Why would you post a message from somebody and you're violating his privacy to your conversation? No, I blotched out his name. But y'all thing is y'all didn't want to be proven wrong. Y'all didn't know that I actually talk to developers every day, literally. Every day. There's the difference between skepticism and silencing. Healthy skepticism is fine. Asking for clarity is fine. But trying to force someone to burn a source just to satisfy a forum argument, that's not accountability. That's ego protection. Because once the information stands, the comfort disappears. Because once the information stands, the comfort disappears. The pattern. Notice the reoccurring pattern. Fans point out issues. Fans get negative. Fans document problems. Fans get told to relax. Fans consult industry professionals. Fans get told to expose them. It's the same underlying thing. Don't disrupt the narrative. And that's dangerous for any product ecosystem. What's the real, what this really comes down to? This isn't about secrets. This is about credibility. If someone consistently understands industry terminology, explain technical concepts clearly, connect systems across sports titles, predict outcomes accurately, then the quality of the analyst should matter more than the name of the source. The quality of the analyst should matter more than the name of the source. Truth stands on logic, not on doxing. And here's something important. The more community punishes fans for researching, the less information the community becomes. Excuse me. The more community punishes fans for research, the less informed that community becomes. And uninformed communities are easy to manage. Uninformed communities are easy to manage. Informed communities demand standards. If a fan is willing to dig deeper than surface level discourse, then that shouldn't be attacked. It should be respected, because at the end of the day, nobody benefits from a culture where asking hard questions require sacrificing the people who answered them privately. That doesn't strengthen the community, it weakens it. And boxing gaming doesn't afford weaker, and boxing gaming can't afford weaker conversations. It needs sharper ones. Let me see. All right. Let me see. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Oh. Nothing. All right. Let me see. Let me see how many people still here. There's 9 people here. Okay. Hit the like button, please. All right. It's not about can they, it's about will they. It's not about can they, it's about will they. Most of the time in modern gaming development, especially in sports gaming, the question isn't, is this possible? Is it worth the cost? Because almost everything people argue about online, deeper AI, more animations, better physics, tuning, systematic career logic, expanded options is technically achievable. The limit factors are head count, time, tech depth, pipeline maturity, budget allocation, risk tolerance, not magic. See, this is the stuff people don't know. They're just gamers. These are things that I research. I've been researching for the last couple of decades. This is stuff that I make sure I know. When I said all the stuff I just said, that goes over your head. But y'all attacking me because you don't know it. Now, here's where my argument becomes sharp. Steel City isn't juggling 5 franchises. They're not splitting attention between basketball, football, and racing. They have one flagship product. If Undisputed reportedly crossed 1 million copies, that's not industry. That's not indie garage numbers. If Undisputed reportedly crossed 1 million copies, that's not industry. That's not indie garage numbers. That's real revenue territory. Even accounting for platform cuts, marketing, publishing splits, and overhead. And yes, they have multiple studios. They have a publisher. They have investors. They have shareholders. That means as expectations change, because once you enter that tier, small team framing loses power. This is why I be saying to people, it loses power. It's their first game. They're a new team. Because once you enter that tier, small team framing loses power. The manpower question. Let's be fair for a second. Scaling a team isn't instant. Hiring senior AI engineer isn't easy. Rebuilding messy code isn't cheap. Rebuilding messy code isn't cheap. Steel City has messy code. Ash Habib said it. Ash Habib said it. To the people that don't know who Ash Habib is, it's the owner. He's the owner of Steel City. He said it. He said developers from EA and developers from 2K said that the code was messy. Rebuilding messy code isn't cheap, but here's the flip side. If the product is their entire brand, reinvestment isn't optimal. It's survival. Steel City is trying to survive. If the community is divided, core systems are unstable, competitive integrity is questioned, then expanding of technical staff should be a priority. Then expansion of technical staff should be a priority, not a luxury. Because long-term sports titles live or die on iteration quality. The resource allocation reality. Companies make trade-offs. Do we add more licensed boxers, improve presentation, or overhaul AI? Do we invest in marketing or hire additional network engineers? Do we push DLC or stabilize core gameplay first? Those are executive decisions. So when fans say they don't have the resources, what they really mean is they chose to allocate. No, when fans say they don't have the resources, what they really mean is they chose to allocate resources elsewhere. And that's a different conversation. The investor layer. When investors and shareholders enter the equation, pressure shifts. Now there are expectations about quarterly returns, revenue growth, brand sustainability, expansion strategy that can either encourage investment into quality or encourage short-term monetization cycles. It depends on leadership philosophy, but the idea that a million selling sports titles backed by investors is helpless. That's hard to accept without seeing transparency, financial constraints. What makes fans frustrated? Boxing fans waited over a decade for a modern title. So when they hear it's hard, it takes time, be patient, they compare that to other sports ecosystems that iterate annually. And the question becomes, if this is the only game the studio has, why doesn't it feel like all in execution? That's not entitlement. That's expectation scaling with revenue. That's expectation scaling with revenue. One game. The hard truth. Money alone doesn't fix development culture. If the code base is messy, if leadership direction shifts, if priority lean marketing heavy. Hold up, y'all. Listen. If priority lean marketing heavy, what are we seeing right now? What do we see is the priority? But y'all attacking people that know what they're talking about. Or if technical depth wasn't addressed early, then every good revenue gets absorbed by repair work instead of expansion. But here's the key. That's still a management decision, and fans are allowed to question management decisions. No excuses versus real constraints. No excuses versus real constraints. There's a difference between there are no excuses and show us where the investment is going. The second is stronger because it asks for accountability without pretending development is simple. If SEI wants to be seen as a serious long-term sports studio, then transparency about team growth, AI investment, engine improvements, tech partnerships, competitive roadmap becomes critical, not hype. Roadmap clarity. The core question, with one flagship game, million plus sales, investor backing it. Backing it. Dad, what's it backing? With investors backing it, is the ceiling defined by ability or by appetite? That's the real debate. And fans aren't wrong for asking it, because a company moves beyond indie passion. Because once a company moves beyond indie passion project territory, expectations grow with it. Industry passion project. That's what this was for Ash at one point. He's still trying to hold on to that indie part. He's still trying to hold on to the indie part, but the team moved way past that. That's not hostility. That's how marketing works. And boxing gaming won't evolve if we pretend revenue doesn't change responsibility. All right. Let me see what y'all saying. Give me a second. All right, let me see y'all. I don't know why my thing keep doing that. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit. Let me see how long I've been in here. Then I might decide on how long I'm going. All right. So I'm gonna read like 2 more lines, and if I don't get nobody to pop up and say anything, I'm gonna end the show. All right. Now I'm gonna read a couple more. All right. Talking point. You're being too negative. All you do is criticize. That hurts the game. My response: criticism isn't negativity, it's quality control. If pointing out broken mechanics hurt a game more than the broken mechanics themselves, that's not a criticism problem. That's a product problem. Silence doesn't strengthen a sports title. Standards do. It's the only boxing game we have. If this fails, we won't get another one. My response: protecting mediocrity doesn't guarantee longevity. It guarantees stagnation. Fight fans waited over a decade after Fight Night champion. The lesson from that era wasn't accepting whatever we get. It was alignment matters. If a boxing game doesn't feel right to boxing fans, loyalty won't save it long term. Loyalty will not save a game long term if the mechanics and everything about it is not right. You don't even play anymore, so why talk? You stop playing. Your opinion doesn't count. Consumers don't lose their voice because they stop spending money. In fact, former customers are the loudest warning sign a company should listen. In fact, former customers are the loudest warning sign a company should listen to. If someone walked away and can articulate why, that's valuable feedback, not disqualification. Winning is winning. If you can't beat the exploit, that's on you. My response: winning in a broken system proves system mastery, not sports mastery. If a game rewards workarounds more than ring IQ, it's not competitive integrity. It's an adaptation to flaws. A fixed system reveals skill. A broken system hides it. Name the developers who told you that. If you can't expose your sources, it's fake. Industry professionals can't publicly critique another studio without risk. Protecting sources is normal. Journalists do it. Analysts do it. Consultants do it. Demanding someone burn a source just to win an online debate isn't about truth. It's about discrediting uncomfortable information. They don't have the resources. I hear that a lot. They don't have the resources. They still a small thing. They don't have the resources. They still a small thing. My response: a million-selling sport title backed by a publisher and investors isn't a garage project anymore. The question isn't can they, it's are they choosing to allocate resources that way? Manpower decisions are executive decisions. If core systems aren't prioritized, their strategy, not helplessness. If core systems aren't prioritized, that's strategy, not helplessness. Content creators are just being positive. They're not echo chambers. I mean, they're not echoing anything. They just like the game. My response: positivity is fine, but access changes incentives. When creators consistently soften criticism and push back on fans instead of pushing for fixes, credibility starts to erode. Balance builds trust. Blind defense doesn't. And like I said, I'm not going at all of the developers. I mean, all the content creators. And if you feel I'm attacking you, that's on you. I'm not attacking you. I did not attach names. Fight Night Champion was successful. It's so fine. The series didn't continue. That's the real metric. And I don't even know why people be saying that with the question. They said Fight Night Champion was successful. It sold fine. It didn't sell fine. It took them over 10 years to sell over 1 million copies. It just went up to 2 million. Like about 2 or 3 years ago, it was like 1.2. That's across systems. All right. It sold fine. My response: the series didn't continue. That's the real metric. When direction doesn't align with core fans, engagement fades. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. Fans don't riot first. They disengage first. You just want perfection. No game is perfect. I literally just seen somebody post that in the chat. Yo, that's crazy. No game is perfect. My response: nobody is asking for perfection. They're asking for mechanical consistency, clear identity, competitive integrity. authentic boxing logic. Those aren't fantasy. They're foundations for a serious sports ecosystem. You're dividing the community. Stop attacking the game. Division doesn't come from criticism. Division comes from standards not being shared. If a community can't agree that broken systems should be fixed, that's already a split. Calling for alignment isn't division, it's consolidation. It's consolidation. The real debate isn't about hate, it's about competition. Does the community want comfort? Excuse me. I don't even know why I say competition. I was reading two words at the same time. Excuse me. The real debate isn't about hate. It's about appetite. Does the community want, I know y'all say, Dad, how did he get competition out of appetite? Because I was looking at community and appetite at the same time. And I automatically thought about competition. I apologize. All right. It's about appetite. Does the community want comfort or competitive integrity? Does the studio want short-term peace or long-term respect? Because boxing and gaming won't evolve through protection. It will evolve through pressure. And pressure only exists when fans stop attacking each other for wanting better. They're still building the foundation. Give them time. Foundations take years. My response: foundations are supposed to come before full release expectations, not after. If core systems like AI logic, punch detection, stamina realism, or online stability still feel foundational, then the question isn't time, it's sequencing. Was the product released before the base was ready? Time only helps if direction is correct. Exactly. People be defending stuff that they don't know about, and they attack people that know what they're talking about, that you can literally look up yourself. Other sports games have decades of development. You can't compare this to NBA or Madden. My response: you absolutely can compare standards. If you sell a premium price, if you sell at a premium price in a modern sports market, you enter the modern sports comparison pool. If you sell at a premium price in the modern sports market, you enter the modern sports comparison pool. Longevity expands polish. It doesn't expand instability. And SCI isn't competing against 2006 standards. And SCI isn't competing against 2006 standards. They're competing about 2026 expectations. The game will evolve. Every game gets better over time. That's false. That's false. My response: evolution requires clarity. If identity isn't settled, sim versus hybrid, competitive first cinematic, updates become reactive instead of strategic. A sports game needs a North Star. Otherwise, patches become bandages. Talking points. You just want it your way. You're trying to force your blueprint. Not really. Not really at all. My response, no, this isn't about personal taste. This is about internal consistency. If a game markets realism, its mechanics should reflect realism. If it markets authenticity, its AI should behave authentically. Expectation alignment isn't selfish. It's product integrity. The devs are passionate. This is what I hear all the time. I hear this all the time. Content creators say it. Paul, you don't know what you're talking about. The devs are passionate. They love boxing. That matters. Passion is important, but passion doesn't override execution. History is filled with passionate projects. History is filled with passion projects that fell due to scope mismanagement, technical depth, resource allocation, overpromising. Passion builds vision. Discipline builds systems. You're hurting future boxing games. You know what's funny about this? It's the fans that say this. Some fans. It's some fans that say this. Developers don't say this. It's some of the fans that say this. And that's crazy. I would think that the developers will be saying that to me. The ones that I talk to. The ones that y'all think that I'm making up. All right. You're hurting future games. You're hurting future boxing games. If this fails, no one will invest in boxing again. My response, investments follow viability. If a game proves boxing can sustain, competitive integrity, long-term player retention, transparent development cycles, then investment grows. It proves boxing communities tolerates instability. Investors learn that lesson. If it proves boxing communities tolerate instability, investors learn that lesson. But the thing is right here, this is what when I made a point, when Steel City, the long-term player retention, that right there is what hurt other companies from making boxing video games. There were other companies that were thinking about making boxing video games. They still are, but they were like ready to go. They were ready to go. They were excited. When they seen the ESBC, they got excited. When they seen the million views, they got excited. But once the game launched and the long-term player retention died down quickly, that made them nervous. Long-term player retention made companies nervous that wanted to make boxing games. Players adapt. That's normal. Every competitive game has meta. My response, meta and malfunctioning aren't the same. Meta and malfunction aren't the same. Meta evolves within balanced systems. Malfunction creates artificial advantages. If players are winning because they understand a flaw better than others, that's not meta development. That's exploitation hierarchy. They sold over 1 million. They're fine. The sales prove it works. My response: initial sales measure anticipation. Initial sales measure anticipation. Long-term retention measures satisfaction. Long-term retention measures satisfaction. Sequels survive on sustained trust, not launch excitement. Sequels survive on sustained trust, not launch excitement. The real metric isn't copies sold, it's how many players stay engaged over the real metric isn't copies sold, is how long players stay engaged 1 year later. 1 year later. But some companies measured that first month. But 1 year later, other companies said, nah. The criticism is too loud. It's overwhelming the community. Volume reflects frustration, accumulation. When concerns stack for months without resolution, pressure builds. Quiet communities aren't always happy communities. Sometimes they're just disengaged, and disengagement is worse than noise. Stop comparing it to the blueprint in your head. Stop comparing it to the blueprint in your head. No game will ever match your vision. My response: this isn't about perfection, it's about trajectory. Is the game moving closer to authentic boxing logic, strategic depth, mechanical consistency, or is it oscillating between identities? Direction matters more than fantasy. And I don't deal in fantasy. You're making it personal. It sounds like you have something against them. This isn't personal. Personal attacks target people. Standards target systems. If systems critique feels like personal attacks, that's just emotional attachment to leadership decisions. Those are separate lanes. Why don't you build your own game? Oh, man. Why don't you build your own game? I hear this from people in the community, and I hear it from developers all the time. I hear this from developers all the time. I hear it from the community all the time. Let me answer this. Why don't you build your own game? If you know so much, do it yourself. Consumers don't need to manufacture cars to critique engineering flaws. Expertise doesn't require ownership. If you understand systems, economics, and design structure, you can analyze direction. Critiques isn't competition. Critique isn't competition. You want the game to fail. You're rooting against it. My response: nobody spends years advocating for realism in boxing gaming because they want it gone. Low expectations aren't hatred. They're protecting their protection against repeated disappointment. If it exceeds those expectations, that's a win for everybody. If it exceeds those expectations, that's a win for everyone. Underneath all this is one core tension. Some fans want stability and peace. Some fans want pressure and evolution. Peace keeps things comfortable. Pressure forces growth. History shows which one improves. Sports franchises. The real question for boxing communities isn't whether criticism is loud, is whether isn't is whether it's consistency. Let me see. I was gonna do some more Q&As, but let me see what's going on in the chat. Let me see. Oh man, excuse me. I don't know why I'm gonna keep doing that. Excuse me. All right, give me a second. Fight Night Round 3, best-selling boxing game in the last 20 years. See, I gotta look that up. I think I'm talking about it's so best or the get. Hold up, I don't know. I don't think Fight Night Round 3. Let me see. You got me. Let me see something. I'll look something up. I got. That's what I do. No disrespect to you. It was Fight Night Round 3 best was Fight Night Round 3 the best selling game in the last 20 years? No. It says no. Fight Night Champion was not the best-selling video game of the last 20 years. Here's context. Fight Night Round 3 sold in the low millions of copies worldwide. Estimates vary, but data suggests combined sales around 3 million. Hold up, that was the best selling. Oh, okay. You're right. I typed it in wrong. You're right. Once I heard that, once I read the number, you're right, 100% right. It's saying Fight Night round 3 didn't like it said not quite. Fight Night round 3 was not the best selling boxing game of the last 20 years based on available sales records. While it sold well around 1 million globally across according to some sell tracking sites, it was not the top seller in its genre. Here's the key context. Fight Night Round 3 did sell strongly. It moved a solid number of copies across platforms in its era, and it's finally remembered by fans. However, later boxing titles, especially Fight Night Round 4, actually eclipsed it in sales. Reports suggest Round 4 sold significantly more. Older titles like Punch Out have also reached similar or greater milestones in total lifetime sales. So while Fight Night Round 3 was one of the more successful boxing games, it wasn't definitely the best selling boxing game of the last 20 years. Ain't played 3 in a minute. What's up, Random Thoughts? Y'all always find a way to pop in here when I'm about to log off. Ain't played 3 in a minute, but my favorite fight night as of now is Champion. Least favorite is Round 4. Yeah, I think that's why it's so more. Yeah, because I remember that whole thing. I went to the event for that. Shoot, they really promoted Round 4 because I went to the majority of the events. I met Mike Tyson. I met a lot of people. So I went to that event. So that promotion did it. Let me see. Yeah. I appreciate you for coming in. Random Thoughts. I think I'm gonna read just because you popped in. I'm gonna read like 2 more questions, maybe 2, 3, and then I'm gonna hop off. Let me see. Give me a second. More questions that. Let me see. Give me a second. All right, let me see. Let me see. All right. Could investors just fund a bigger team? Answer. They could, but investors don't fund hiring just because fans are frustrated. They fund expansion when they believe it increases long-term franchise value. It protects future revenue. It strengthens sequel potential. It improves retention metrics. If leadership presents the current product as a stable enough, if leadership presents the current product as stable enough with gradual improvements, investors may see no urgency reason to double payroll. Investors respond to business cases, not community emotions. See, it's the community that's hurting the game. That's what I keep saying. Investors only give money when the community help push the developers. They fund expansion when they believe it increases long-term franchise value. It protects future revenue. It strengthens sequel potential. It improves retention metrics. See, when people keep playing the game like it's not broke, they say, hey, why should we give them more investors? I mean, more developers to fix it. It improves retention metrics. Why give more money to get more developers? If people acting like the game is not broken, if the game doesn't need help to be fixed. If the game sold over 1 million copies, isn't there enough money already? My answer, revenue and available cash are not the same thing. From 1 million copies, you subtract platform cuts, 30%. Publisher share, marketing costs, studio overhead, taxes, operation expenses. Hold up. Look at this, y'all. 30% plus. Let's just say 35%. Now you got to give a percentage to the publisher. Now you got to give a percentage to the marketing cost. Now you got to give a percentage to the studio overhead. That's all these studios they got. They got 3 studios. Now you got to do taxes. Now you got to do operation costs. That's the in studio. So now they sold over 1 million copies. And what the owner probably made out of that is probably what he probably made. Probably 2 million. I mean, yeah, he probably made 2 million over that because it said over 1 million copies. So let's just say they sold over 1 million copies for $50. Just say $50. 50 and over 1 million. Let's say that's $50 million. He's probably only going to get probably 10 million. If that, after he pay everybody off. If that. All right. There can absolutely be profit left. There can absolutely be profit left, but decision becomes, do we reinvest heavily into engineering or preserve margins and show profitability to investors? We are what y'all would say effed. We are effed. I don't curse, so we are effed. Do we reinvest heavily into engineering or preserve margins and show profitability to investors? That's why all this marketing is going on. That's why they're doing a lot of marketing to show the investors, to make it look good for the investors. That's a strategy choice. Wouldn't investors want the game to be as good as possible? My answer, investors want return on investment. Sometimes that aligns with deep reinvestment. Sometimes it aligns with controlled cost growth. If the game is selling steadily, not hemorrhaging players, not facing catastrophic backlash, investors may conclude the product is viable without aggressively scaling. They will feel, why should we add more money? People are still playing the game. They feel it's okay. Excellence and profitability are related, but they aren't identical. What about sponsors? Couldn't they help cover hiring? My answers: sponsors typically fund exposure, not infrastructures. They help with branding, events, promotional campaigns, visibility, partnerships. They also they rarely fund AI engineering. They rarely, but they do. They rarely fund AI engineering, network architecture, animation systems overhauls. Sponsors strengthen marketing reach. Investors influence operational scale. If they have 3 studios, why isn't manpower higher? If they had 3 studios, why isn't manpower higher? My answer: studio count doesn't equal senior talent density. Studio count doesn't equal senior talent density. 3 studios could mean distributed Q&A, art teams, support teams, shared production staff. What matters most for a sports simulation is seeing AI engineer, physics programmers, network specialists, system designers. If those specific roles are thin, expanding headcount in other departments won't solve core mechanics issues. Is it possible they're already investing heavily? Is it possible they're already reinvesting heavily? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat before I answer that. Shout out to Don D, the brother popped in and showing love. Shout out, my brother. Probably because Ford promoted that. All right. Don D said, the GOAT. What it do, man? What's your day, how's your day, my brother? It's all right. You get a pic with Mike? Nope. I got a picture of Mike when I went to the event, not with him. And Mike was always, and it's crazy. Mike, always, when I was boxing, I always, even though he's like, with Mike Tyson, probably, I think, 5 years older than me. And I always looked at him like, I was like, yo, I want to be like Mike Tyson. And then I seen Holyfield. So I mixed both of these styles when I boxed. Let me see. Don D said, the GOAT. What it do, my man? How's your day, my brother? As well. My guy doing the Lord's work on this Sunday. Appreciate you, man. Your logic, attention to detail, and thought process are incredible, bro. I sure hope those companies are listening and taking note. I do too. Precisely gave you a shout out, Don D. I'm gonna read a couple more. I'm happy y'all here. Is it possible they're already reinvesting heavily? Yes, but transparency matters. If fans don't see, public hiring pushes for key roles. Public hiring pushes for key roles. Exactly. My thing is, I see all the people that they hired. Still City. I know y'all watch my podcast. I know you watch the YouTube and you watch the podcast. And I see how y'all hiring. Y'all trash. Y'all need to get rid of that company that y'all hired to get developers for y'all. Y'all should let me do the hiring for y'all. That's something I'm good at, building teams. I'm a team builder. Always have been. Always have been. Since I was a child, I'm a team builder. All right. Is it possible they're already reinvesting heavily? Answer yes, but transparency matters. If fans don't see public hiring pushes for key roles, clear technical roadmaps, communication and infrastructure upgrades, they assume stagnation. Perception fills gaps when information is absent. Perception fills gaps when information is absent. So to all of you developers that are listening, and y'all always say we don't know what we're talking about or something is wrong, perception fills gaps when information is absent. And from what I see from your hiring practice, the game is going to be trash. And that's my opinion. Why not just trust the process? My answer: trust grows when identity is clear, core systems stabilized, communication is consistent, promises align with delivery. If messaging shifts or expectations feel misaligned, trust weakens. Trust isn't blind patience. It builds on evidence over time. Is aggressive hiring always the right move? Not always. Scaling too fast can disrupt pipelines, create management bottlenecks. See, me, if I had the position that company they hired, I would aggressively hire because I know what the company needs. I know exactly what they need. If they say, Poe, if you give us 5 people you think we should hire right now, who should we hire? And I would give it to them like it's nothing. And they would be like, Dad, wow, how did he know that? Because I'm old. All right. All right. Scaling too fast can increase burn rate, introduce coordinate chaos. But underscaling has risk too. Slow fixes, technical deficit build up, technical debt built up. That's exactly what's going on. Community frustration, competitive integrity decline. The key isn't just hiring more, it's hiring strategically in system critical areas. It's hiring strategically in system critical areas. And that's crazy that I know these things. What will signal serious reinvestment? What would signal serious reinvestment? My answer: clear indicators would be senior AI or physics hiring publicly announced. I know y'all thought I wasn't going to give the people that I will hire. No. Clear indication would be senior AI or physics hires publicly announced. Network infrastructure overhaul messaging. Dedicated competitive integrity sit teams. Technical breakdowns of engine upgrades, long-term roadmap beyond cosmetic additions that signal infrastructure ambition, not maintenance mode. So what's the real issue? My answer, it isn't whether the money exists, it's whether leadership view technical excellence as essential to long-term dominance, or an optimal refinement. If the strategy is good enough with updates, then growth will be incremental. If the strategy is build the defining boxing sports ecosystem, the reinvestment must scale accordingly. That's not emotion. That's corporate philosophy. Let me read that again. If the strategy is build the definitive boxing sports ecosystem, then reinvestment must scale accordingly. That's not emotional. That's corporate philosophy. Let me see what y'all saying, and then I'm out. All right, let me see. Don D said, how's it going? I'm Precisely. I appreciate everybody that came in. Shout out to Don D, 205. You can find them on Twitch. You can find them on Instagram, and you can find them on Twitter. Don D205 and Don D. While you here, you gotta put the time stamps up so people can know when they can listen to your show. You know, so you could get more people to support you. Let me see. But see, SCI don't believe in all of that. They don't. They really don't. They like really doesn't believe in the company. Their thing is Ash Lily might believe what he was saying in the beginning. But the thing is, like, when some people they get a business, there are always people that will come around you, and you're so weak. You're so weak that you want something that you allow them to change you. That was never my thing. No one can ever change me. I had a business. I'd rather for my business to fail than somebody to come in and change it. No, you're not taking my business. Because at any time I can reopen my business with my skill set. With my skill set, I can come back and start my business. But if I put a bad taste in my customer's mouth and they say, well, he a bad businessman, people still talk about me, my product. They still talk about it. They talk to my wife till this day. Are your husbands still making cheesecakes? Is your husband still making bean pies? Is your husband still doing this? Is your husband still doing that? And she said, yeah, sometimes. So that shows that I did make a great product. I always did. But the thing with me was money. Am I going to pay my bills or focus on my family? Even though I wanted it to be a family business. And I had my bills, I had to make sure the money was coming fast, but it wasn't coming fast enough. Let me see. Don D said, I just want to take advantage of the people. You talking like you're still sitting. Okay. SCI just wanted to take advantage of the people while they had the notoriety of the game until another boxing game sweeps them away. Don D said There needs to be a class action lawsuit against SCI. I feel like that company needs to be investigated. A lot of people saying that. And I think, let me see, I think the way they got it set up, that they can't be sued. Let me see. I actually wrote something or saw something. Let me see. Because there was somebody, they was like real adamant about that. I'm suing them. I'm suing them. I said, make sure you can. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, they can be sued. The real question is, would a lawsuit against SCI actually succeed? That's where it gets complicated. You can't talk about Steel City Interactive, the studio behind Undisputed. Let me see. Yeah, you can't. Let me see. Can you sue a game company for selling a broken game? You can file a lawsuit for things like false advertisement, deception marketing, fraud, breach of customer protection laws, selling defective digital goods. But filing a lawsuit and winning one are two different things. But my thing is, just by everybody filing a lawsuit itself, that's enough to put the fire under them and scare them. Courts usually ask, did the company comprise something specific? Was the promise materially false? Did consumers suffer miserably financial harm? Did the company knowingly mislead customers? The last one I will 100% go with. Let me see. The CEO said it was broken. If a CEO says publicly the game is broken but continues selling it, that sounds bad. Legally, though, courts look at, was the statement informal or official marketing? Wow. Wow. Was it general comment about development challenges? Oh, see, they had all this stuff practiced. They practiced all this stuff. So, hey, you could talk about it. It's going to sound like you're being honest. Yo, was it a general comment about development challenges? Did the company issue disclaimers? Did buyers agree to term of service? Also, all games include languages like game experience may vary, subject to change, online features not guaranteed, no warranties expressed or implied. They didn't say none of that part. Those clauses, those clauses are designed specific to shield companies from its broken lawsuits. They didn't say none of that. What about false advertisement? Now, this where it gets more serious. If marketing materials promise hyper-realistic simulation, I said that 100%. He said it numerous times. I got the video. Showed trailers that materially differentiate from final gameplay. Display a roadmap that never reflected the shipped product. Then you're entering consumer protection territory. But here's the legal hurdle. Here's the legal hurdle. Realistic, authentic, hyper-realistic, like chess, not checkers, those are usual treated as marketing puffery, not legal binding claims. Courts often rule that vague promotional language is not a contractual guarantee, even if fans feel misled. Has this happened before in gaming? Yes. Example, No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout 76, all launched in rough states. All were accused of deception. Most lawsuits dismissed or settled quietly unless refunds were involved. Why? Because companies argue bugs don't equal fraud. Performance don't equal deception. Developers changes don't equal legal breach. That's what companies argue. What makes a case strong? A lawsuit would have strong footing if there were clear documentation, clear document evidence of knowing false claims. Internal proof they knew marketing was untrue. Specific guaranteed features that were removed. Refunds denied despite misrepresentation. Otherwise, it becomes the game didn't meet expectations, and courts don't argue. Courts don't usually treat that as illegal. It is okay to keep selling it if it's broken legally. Usually, yes. Is it okay to keep selling it if it's broken legally? Usually, yes, unless it violates platform standards. That's when it's up to PlayStation, Steam, and Xbox. That's when they're supposed to step in. So the lawsuit might be on those platforms. All right, morally, that's a decision conversation. There's a difference between illegal, unethical, disappointment, poorly executed, broken by design, broken by incompetence. Only one of those typically win in court. The real leverage is in lawsuits. In modern gaming, the real pressure comes from refund waves. Yeah, refund waves, platform delisting, review scores, sales drop off, investment pressure, community unity. Community pressures the investors. Publishers react faster to revenue signals than legal threats. All right, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Let me see. It's pitiful how they're treating the American people and the world cold. I understand that icon too, but if no refund for them is the goal, they lost what can't be bought, and that's respect. Exactly. Mike Adams said Don D, definitely. They have a very they have a very bad reputation. They should have moved heaven and earth to fix the problem the game has. Exactly. Because they said if they don't fix the problem in this game, it's gonna be hard for fans to respect expect that the problem's gonna be fixed in the next game. It's gonna take them at least 1 or 2 weeks for them to see the numbers they saw in the first game, because people are gonna wait and see what this game is. People are not gonna just buy the game. They're gonna see what the game is before they purchase it. They're gonna see if it's an arcade game. They're gonna see if it's a buggy game. They're gonna see all that thing. Is there gonna be a referee in the ring? If they're gonna be this, if they're gonna be that, that's what they're gonna do. But let me end the show. All right. Shout out to Unprecisely. Shout out to Don D 205. Shout out to you, my brother. Let me see. Shout out to Mike Adams. Shout out to Random Thoughts 4569. Shout out to, let me see what was in here. Shout out to Boxing Lounge. Shout out to I think that I'm gonna say LBBTYT. Shout out to you. Shout out to, let me see. All right. Shout out to Card Boxing. Shout out to who else? Let me shout out. Shout out to Country Boy, Aloha Alabama. Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Leafy. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that support this channel. I appreciate y'all. Humbly, I appreciate y'all. Not angrily, humbly, I appreciate y'all. And to the next show, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every day, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Sunday, it's 3 p.m. Until the next show, y'all. Peace.